So, Lena, you and Isaac head over to this furnace, and again, not frozen over with ice. And when you open the main compartment of it, there is some kind of material on the base that seems like it could be lit. It's also a little bit bigger inside than you were expecting. Like, this isn't just, like the size of your head. It's a pretty big furnace, and the inside of it has all that space to it as well, to where it could take a pretty sizable fire.
I give you a look, and then I'll light it with druid craft.
Okay. Let me see what... This is the one that's like, what, a square foot of fire?
I think it just lets you light a campfire, a torch, or whatever.
It just says I can instantly light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. So.
All right. So you can light it enough that it does light up the inside of the furnace. Not a large blaze by any means, and it's enough to where you can at least feel the warmth in the immediate area. It doesn't seem to have any impact on the room itself. And you can sort of just tell from looking at, like, even this small campfire you've made is not really what this furnace seems to have been intended for. Seems like it's supposed to have more than that.
Okay.
Tessian and Tyrannus and Karash, as you cross the room to the other side and look at these bookcases, there do appear to be books of some kind on them. It's difficult to see just because of the kind of refractions of the ice as you're peering through it. And there is at least a seemingly somewhat thin layer of ice basically encasing the bookcase and preventing you from having access to it.
Okay. I don't think I can melt ice.
Karash can melt ice. I'm going to grab my mace, and I'm going to tap it in a corner to see if I can get it to crack.
Okay. Roll an attack.
Mace!
Mersh.
15 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
10 bludgeoning.
As you strike it with your mace, it splinters at the point of impact, and even just kind of like with a little tap, a firm tap, it seems like, yeah, you could probably smash through this.
Is it damaging the books at all?
Not yet.
Not yet.
How it depends on how hard he wants to swing, doesn't it?
Tessian's going to get a dagger in where he is and just sort of like chip at it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just kind of carefully chip the ice off now that he's got a good crack in there.
Okay. You can do that. Tyrannus, you do anything?
I am posing. Arms out to the side.
T-posing?
Prestidigitation with little lightning bolts coming out of my armor.
You're doing the solaire like for the sun.
Yeah. Praise the sun.
Praise the lightning and thunder god.
Only if I am the sun. Kind of wedging into the spot where Karash made that impact, you could pretty much get this front panel of ice to shatter if you were to work at it long enough to grant access to the bookcase itself. Especially if you were to hit it again after you've wedged that in there. You can feel it giving.
You mean like if Karash hits it hard?
Yeah.
Karash, give it a good a nice solid tap here.
Oh, okay.
Roll that attack. I want you to hit his hand so bad.
I know. Where's that natural
13.
Damn it. That hits. So you strike the handle of the dagger with your mace, and it kind of like, because it has a really focused point of impact, pushes through the ice, and the ice just goes and breaks and crumples to the ground, and it gives you access to one of the bookshelves.
I want to start looking through the books. What do we got here?
The books are all cold, but not like painful to touch.
Okay.
Just like you can tell they have not been manipulated in a while. They're stiff. The pages do not flow very easily. Mm-hmm. As you're starting to pick a couple off and kind of thumb through them, all the pages are blank. And that's the case in 3 or 4 different books that you pick up and just leaf through real quick.
So, Tessian, I'm firmly against this normally, but I'm wondering if we're supposed to burn these books to create a larger fire.
Well, that's with the furniture. It's also possible that there's some sort of a magic hiding the all information in them until something happens. But yes, as it stands, these are useless.
Why don't we start with the furniture then? And I'll go over and grab some of it and start throwing it in the fire.
Yeah, I'll help.
It's encased in ice.
Oh, we gotta bust it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use
So
my
who-
rapier handle.
Okay, as I say, so who feels good for when they're busting?
Oh, Siri.
Oh no,
Aw,
this is going to be a disaster
doggy.
potentially.
Uh-oh.
There's a dog just out of frame, but there's also wires everywhere. Hold on. We're just going to leave this in. There goes the camera.
Oh God. Oh.
Oh, God.
Hello.
Siri,
There's the
you're
dog.
there she is. Look at her
Dog
go.
confirmed.
Destroyed everything.
So Tyrannus is rolling with disadvantage now.
Lincoln needs to kind of reset up again.
Yeah. Well, his camera is sideways on the ground for one thing.
I will attempt to bash one of the pieces of furniture out of ice.
This is live. Oh no, we're okay. Yeah, it's good.
How's that look?
This one I'm not going to have you roll attacks for because they're all inanimate objects, but you can basically go around and be like smash a few of the chairs to get them free or one of the tables, whatever you'd like to do essentially.
I'll
Crash.
try using my quarterstaff to also maybe break out some of these pieces of furniture.
It'll work to some extent. Like you combine with Isaac with the butt of his rapier, it takes you a few hits apiece, but you manage to break off the ice on one of the chairs.
Cool. Yay.
Meanwhile, Karash is just going through smashing them with all of his Karashi might. So you have like 5 chairs and a couple of the tables loose now if you want to start taking them over to the furnace.
Yes.
As you chuck them into the fire, it starts to grow. And one of the nice byproducts of that is it actually feels warmer, not warm yet. But it starts to create a pretty nice sized fire that feels rather nice, actually. Like you could just stay here forever, except you can't. But you could. You also notice that after tossing in those chairs and the couple of tables that you loosed, that I got distracted because I can see in Lincoln's camera. The ice that's covering the doorway is starting to melt slightly.
Ooh. Okay. Good. We're getting there.
Keep busting some tables. You know, I'm like just ice picking some chairs and stuff. You know.
So with the group's efforts, essentially, to fast forward a smidge, you're able to kind of get pretty much all the furniture in the room you want to put the smash table into.
Yeah, especially the smash one because
Oh, yeah.
it's not good anymore. So
We'll start with the smash table, and then we'll go with the regular table if the smash one's not good enough. Because I mean,
Okay.
it's a nice table.
This used to be a nice neighborhood. All the remaining tables and chairs you can basically break out of their icy prisons, chuck them into the furnace. This is the point now where the block that's blocking the door is shrinking a bit. You can't get around it yet. There's a gap between it now, though, and it is... You can actually now see, now that it's been removed from the ceiling a bit, that the furnace seems to be channeling heat in that direction, in addition to the part that's actually in the room and emanating heat out of it itself as well. I need everybody to make a perception check.
Oh God.
I knew it wasn't going to be that easy. There would be something.
Woo! 19.
Critical fail.
5.
A crit! 29.
a 10.
10. You hear the crackling of the fire, especially as it continues to grow in size. Beyond that, the room is relatively quiet, other than the efforts it's taking to smash through the remaining ice and just kind of tramping about the room. You don't hear a ton of other things. Lena, you hear what sounds like, especially with your crit, loud footsteps.
Oh, God.
And as you're kind of scanning the room, trying to figure out the source of them on a crit, you can see that the wall on the opposite side of the furnace, to the right as you were entering, appears like it actually has some movement behind it now. Even though the ice appears to be thick in that direction, something is approaching and it sounds big.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I will say that to everyone. There's something coming on the other side of that wall.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's big, whatever it is. The footfalls are quite loud.
There's not a lot of room in the between the sneak past the doorway yet.
Oh no, that's like a couple inches maybe. It's made progress.
Is all the furniture's in the fire now?
But we haven't started with the books yet, have we?
Nope.
I'm going to run over and start chucking
We'll start
books
chucking
in.
books in.
I've become my worst nightmare.
Become what you hate.
Yeah, all the books.
Is everybody helping with this?
Yes, I will absolutely. I'll be helping, but I'm also going to keep an eye on that wall on the right
I
side.
stand next to the wall.
He would.
Okay.
And then I actually will also work with Karash we'll do the dagger hammer again to free the other bookshelf so we can start tossing those in.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
as soon
you
as
can
we-
open up the second bookcase then while Isaac and Lena start chucking books into the fire, and it roars to even greater heights as you continue to chuck more flammable material into it. And you can see the block by the door continuing to shrink. It's to the point now where you can almost squeeze through. A gelatinous cube could squeeze through.
Oh.
They can squeeze through any size thing.
It's so nimble.
I know. It's the only thing they can do. As you guys are doing this, Lena, since you were looking, and are you facing the wall or back to the wall, Tyrannus?
Facing the wall.
Facing the wall. Lena, since you were kind of keeping an eye in that direction, and Tyrannus, since you're over there by it, you can see... You're not entirely sure what, because again, the ice is thick and is sort of refracting the image that you can see on the other side of it, but looks like a large humanoid creature with a club, and he starts wailing away at the wall. And you can see it starting to splinter on his side of it, not your side yet.
Oh God.
As you guys start to put in the books from the second bookcase, the ice in the doorway shrinks to the point where everybody probably could squeeze through if you did it one at a time.
Tyrannus, through the door.
Another
Yes.
worthy foe comes for the Thunder God.
Lena, you first. Open
Going.
the door.
Yep. Okay, I'm going. I'm gonna try
Tyrannus,
the
do
door.
you accept prayers?
Of course, but they are not required. No.
I'm praying that you'll follow us through this door right now.
Well, if I can help a mortal, I certainly will. You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tyrannus.
The ice is starting to splinter now to the point where there's cracks coming through to this side of the wall. As you guys make your way around this remaining chunk of the ice block. Lena, you put your hand on the door.
Yep.
It's cold to the touch.
Yep.
It turns.
Huh?
You take 6 points of ice damage.
Okie dokie.
Do you have a glove?
I am wearing gloves.
Okay,
But
just
it doesn't matter. Everything.
Chills through them.
Yeah.
Imagine if you weren't wearing gloves.
I know. God, it'd be worse.
I was like, if this could have been prevented if I gave you my gloves, I was going to feel really bad.
Yeah. She's like, ah! Every time.
Just like their skin's just freezing to it every time.
Yeah.
Just
Isaac's
bloody
just standing
blackened
there like,
hands.
Huh. That looks bad without gloves. Whatever.
Yes.
You guys squeeze around the ice block. Lena opens the door. It takes some work because the block is still sort of blocking it, but you guys can squeeze around the one side, through the door open as much as it is, and enter the next room if you so desire.
Yes.
Yes.
And you continue to hear a loud behind you as you close the door.
No, you know what? I'm with Tyrannus. Let's fight this thing.
Kick his ass. You pass.
We'll have to fight it on the way out anyway.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would he still be there?
And knowing that we're not coming the same way, I say, yes, but this way we'll have time to prepare ourselves.
Oh, excellent idea.
It's a good thing that your intelligence and inspiration gave it to him.
Perhaps, but I try not to take credit for mortals and their doings.
Yes, why would you?
It is nice for them to have agency and feel as though they can
Yes,
make
we should
choices.
probably continue, Lena.
Yes, continue.
Yes.
Another fine choice.
He could have been like a dark god.
Yes, I suppose there are worse things with that in mind.
You guys are in a room that's finally different for the first time. The last three have all had similar entryways and exit ways with that kind of small enclosement, and then it would open up into a somewhat bigger room. In the case of the first room, a much bigger room. This reminds you of last time, except for Tyrannus, in that it looks like a long tunnel where whatever light source you guys are using, we kind of just assume it's happening, extends but is nowhere near long enough to see what might be on the other side. And you recall that there was a bit of a test to make it through to the final room last time. It stands to reason there could be something like that here as well.
What triggered it last time? Was it immediately when we went in, or?
It was like us just moving. Like,
Because I almost want to say, like, you all remember what happened last time. On 3, I say we start booking it.
agreed.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Does that sound good to you, Tyrannus? We're going to run as fast as we can to the other side on the count of 3.
And I spend
Yes.
I spent some sorcery points real quick just so that I have another level 3 spell.
Okay.
Or whatever is it, 4th? Whatever. I have another spell. I'll figure out how much it needs to be, but
I'll trust you.
okay. Well, it's whatever dimension door is. I want 2 of them in case I need it. Is that a 4th level spell? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with Tyrannus because I suspect there will be a problem with his tiny little legs.
Okay. As you guys start running down this corridor, one of the things that stands out to you is it is still quite cold, but the ground does not appear to be slippery any longer. While there are occasionally pieces of ice, chunks that are from the ceiling or from the walls on the side, you're able to navigate them easily enough. I need everybody to make a survival check.
Oh, God.
It's a group check.
23. Oh no.
21.
6.
7.
You might have low stats, but your rolls aren't helping you either.
I don't even think the stats are that low. I think he's just rolling real bad.
A 3.
A 3. That is a failure as a group. These temperatures just seem like they keep dropping, even though there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not like there's a wind blowing through like you had on your journey over here. Everyone takes 11 points of cold damage as you run through this first portion.
Ow.
The ones who had the 2 succeeding throws take half of that, 6.
Oh, thanks. Yay.
You're able to at least shrug off some of the effects, but it seems like as you're trying to move as a group, the cold takes its toll as you run through this first portion. And as you continue forward, while the temperature does not really improve, you do notice that instead of ice on the ground, it seems like there's snow in this corridor now. As it gets steeper and steeper, or I guess higher and higher as you continue to trudge forward best you can. Need everybody make an athletics check, please.
Could we
Damn.
put
I was hoping for acrobatics again.
something that I have like a positive number in?
15.
Probably not.
21.
It's like the game knows like what I should be good at and what I should be bad at. That's a 3.
Oh
16.
god.
Oh, I got a massive 10 with my -1.
That is a group success.
Yay.
And even for the folks who are stragglers, you're able to help each other since you're moving as a group to get through the deepest portions of the snow. It gets up to beyond your knees at certain points, which slows you down somewhat, but you guys are able to navigate it with success and continue on down the corridor.
Take my hand.
Don't you mean, like, I don't know.
No, I succeeded. I'm helping you.
Yeah, but you're reaching down. You're 3 feet tall.
As you continue on, the snow does not really let up. It continues to be an impediment as you try and move forward. I need everybody to make a nature check.
Hey, someone gets to do it with advantage.
But whom? I'm just kidding. I know whom.
11.
12.
This is going to change the game.
11.
12. It's a negative 4.
15.
Nature.
15.
Oh.
That is a failure.
Oh
As a
god.
group.
No.
At a certain level, you try and figure out like what path through the snow might be more amenable to walking through it, and it's just all looking like heavy snow to everybody. Nobody really has a clear path through. Tessian kind of makes a little bit of progress on it towards the end. Like, here, this stretch will be a little better, but it's still not especially fast going. And as the weather continues to impact you, you all, including Tessian, because a 15 wasn't high enough, take 10 points of cold damage.
Ouchie.
The snow finally lets up as you continue. You can actually see a light off in the far distance. It's probably like at least 1,000 feet away.
I can get there.
we know we're getting close to the end, but the snow gives way to ice once more. At this point, you're like, ugh, ice. Everybody make an acrobatics check.
Oh God.
Yeah, I
Can I
know.
not and say I did?
Oh God.
You can nod and auto fail it, sure.
18.
19!
Oh my God. We're doing it.
Time to ice skate to freedom. 13.
17.
21.
Wow.
Hey, that's a success. At this point, ice is becoming old hat. You're used to having kind of the idea of where to put your feet and how to balance yourself so you can move at least close to regular speed. And you guys keep your balance, avoid from slipping off the path or faltering at any points. Make it through relatively unscathed. You can see a light approaching now. It might be within 500 feet. And
I got yelled at last time I did that.
you
so
certainly did.
I'm just going to stay right here.
100% did. I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw as you run down the home stretch,
Anybody within 10 feet of me gets +3.
which is everyone.
Definitely.
Yay.
You guys are going together, and no one's falling behind.
19.
Oh, Christ.
22 total.
11.
I got a 7!
22.
Nice. You guys, sensing that you're near your end of your journey, knowing that there was a similarly lighted path at the end of last time, continue to run towards the exit, no longer prohibited on the ground by snow or ice, just be able to go full bore, essentially. The cold still kind of stinging your face at this point as you've been in this narrow place with no sunlight whatsoever. Isaac and Karash, on a fail, you take 7 points of cold damage. The rest of you make it to the exit, shrugging off the effects, and you finally make your way to the door at the end of the chamber.
Nice. Yay.
Well, Lena.
Let's do it. And I go and open the door.
Okay. Put your hand on the door. It's cold to the touch. 7 points of cold damage.
Ow.
What are you at?
I'm at 23 now. It's
But
not
it-
great.
Does turn.
The good news is that you'll be the one turning into the elemental to kill all of us, so it'll probably be okay.
We'll see. I mean, maybe, yeah.
But what if she's the only thing holding it back? And she
We're-
runs out of health.
We're all dead. The tornadoes is
That's
over.
TPK. Let's go.
Oh, God.
When you guys enter the next room after Lena removes her hand from the extremely cold door handle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, this, not to rub it in, but Grail would have helped her too. Mage hand and all.
Yeah.
And we could have all just been doing it to spread the damage out too. We just keep letting Lena do it.
Well, I don't know if anyone else can open the doors. I guess that's why I keep doing it.
That's the assumption Tessia made. But there we are.
You open into a similar but different cavernous chamber from last time. Whereas last time, because of the nature of the Earth Shrine, you had a series of stalagmites and stalactites protecting a dais up a small staircase on the far side of the room. The staircase is still there. A similar looking dais is there, but the floor appears to be icy again. The stalactites and stalagmites have all frozen over. The dais itself looks like it's just made of stone. Doesn't appear to be encased in ice in any way because you can see it from across the room. You remember, and I say this mostly because it's been a while since that session, but you were able to rest in this chamber if you decided to do so before approaching the dais. Approaching the dais was what made Aurelia appear last time.
I was going to ask if we could do that. The team. Like, can we please rest? So,
Oh,
yeah, I think we should.
Stick close, Tyrannus. There are many
Sure.
strange things in this room.
surely you don't need to rest, but your mortal followers could really benefit.
Oh, of course. Yes, you all look very tired.
So, you guys take a short rest. can spend hit dice if you'd like.
Yes,
Can
I would like to do that.
a few things are regenerated on a short rest, not your spell slots, but spend them hit dice.
Oh God, critical fail. Seriously? 3? Okay, well that'll help a little bit. Can I spend it again? It says I have 2 hit dice.
You should have like 8.
Oh, I do have 8. I see that now.
So yeah, you can spend as many as you like. You can do them one at a time so that you don't like overheal or something.
Right. Okay, so that's 7.
When you use hit dice, do you add anything to it, or is it just the raw dice?
I think you add your con,
Thank you, Adricon.
which I
Add
didn't
your
even
con.
do. I spent like too many. I rolled really well, so like I didn't need to do it.
Yep, every
3,
hit die, roll the die, add the character's
4.
constitution modifier to it.
Yeah.
Ooh, a
Another-
crit.
Which is all the more reason to roll them separately because you get to add con each time.
An 8. Okay. That gets me back to full.
Okay. So it's a moment to catch your breath. It is still chilly. Not unbearably so or anything, but you can see your breath as you've kind of sat down or stood around, whichever you wish to do. Just to kind of catch your breath, restore yourselves, rest up a bit.
When Tyrannus allowed us to heal, I said, he's kind of growing on me.
Yes.
There's a certain charm to it.
Oh. Tyrannus, how many followers do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not the god of numbers, but I imagine they're scattered throughout the world just as you are.
Wow.
He's kind of endearing, like an ugly, dumb puppy. And I mean that with the most respect.
What?
You know, it's probably for the best he didn't hear that.
Probably. Well, now that we've had a second or two, I think it's time, Lena. I'll remind everyone that the last time this happened, we were forced to endure large earth elemental while Lena attempted to wrest control of her own form. Something like that could happen here as well, so keep your wits about you.
Is she an
Steve.
elemental?
She might very well be soon enough. There's certainly a certain elemental nature to her bloodline, yes.
Weird.
Yes, it's strange to me as well. Well, I'm ready if you all are. Just don't hold back.
Maybe she's a goddess and you both can get married and have little god children.
Oh, so to the dais, of course.
Yes, I'm just going to head over there now. I'm just going to start walking away. Make a beeline for the dais.
Goodbye, betrothed.
Did I hear that?
Probably, he's quite loud.
Okay. I won't turn around. I'll just wave and just keep walking.
Don't engage with them.
He misses your beauty.
Crash, are you able to provide the sacrament?
What?
This is a fine place for a holy marriage. Look at the altar.
I don't. We should probably take care of the problem with
I see no problem, Crash.
That's a good point, Karash. We defeat the monster and then we have the wedding to celebrate.
See, yes.
I think
What's
Tyrannus
the-
is amenable to that.
I will turn around at this point because I'm sure I can still hear all of this.
Yeah, it echoes through the chamber.
And I don't even know what I would say at this spot. No marriages today, please.
We can wait till tomorrow.
just
No. Not interested.
Love is
sorry.
patient.
You quoting the Bible?
Yes.
The book of Tyrannus, I believe.
Do you place your hand upon the dais after you turn back around and finish ascending the stairs?
Yes. I'm just gonna get this over with.
Who puts her hand on anything?
I didn't know Isaac was gonna be a troublemaker.
I don't know what this is.
He's in a
Let us
catty
shot.
mood today. Gets one night of
She's
good
like,
sleep. He's like, well,
Hold my beer.
time to kick this shit. As you place your hand upon the dais, just like last time, it responds to your touch. The glyphs on the exterior of it kind of radiate out from where your hand is to fill the surface of the altar, and the now familiar form of Aurelia appears before you.
I greet her. I say, Aurelia, it is good to see you again.
And Tyrannus, this is a almost spectral projection of a oversized, ghostly-looking elvish woman in fine robes who's hovering above the dais. Just so you have an idea.
Tyrannus, be nice. She's a nice lady.
Hello,
kind of.
other god. For what do you take hold?
She looks down at Lena first, then over at Tyrannus.
Yes, I see you've met my wife.
But
Says-
please ignore all of that.
Another who's been stranded, left out of the flow of time, I see. He seems a little more disheveled than the last one.
Yes, that does
There's
seem to
definitely one way to
case.
put it.
Perhaps his time away has left him touched somewhat. It's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, maybe you smashed his brains when you pulled him into the
Karas touched
time
me.
stream.
Karas touched me earlier.
He did, yes.
All over.
She looks back at Lena. Says, "You have done well. You have made it to the end of the second shrine, and it will not surprise you that once again there is a test you must overcome. A necessary step on your journey to hopefully completing the Conatus as I did."
I just nod and say I'm ready to begin the test.
She says, "Very well. You have noticed that last time it was a test of your companions of sorts, as well as your own fortitude, to see if you could withstand the pressures and the rigors of a power that was unfamiliar to you. This shrine acts as something of a test from start to finish. Some struggle to even reach the shrine to begin with. Others fall prey to its various traps along the way, but you have overcome all of that to make it here. You will have access to a new power if you can complete this task, but doing so is going to test you even more harshly than before. Are you prepared?"
I am prepared.
And she snaps her finger, which echoes through the chamber, just and you guys watch as Lena's form starts glowing again, and you're like,
Oh,
"Oh
goody."
God, oh no, oh jeez," and
I back away.
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
same.
that's good.
probably fair.
Yeah.
This time in the place, when the light like sort of envelops her form, it starts to expand a bit. And as the light fades in its place, you see what almost feels like swirling water given shape. It's a humanoid shape overall, but the arms are made out of this coursing water that just seems to flow back and forth from the torso with no real rhyme or reason, just continuous in motion and fluid. The same with the legs, and in place of there's not really any head to it. It comes to a point above where the torso would be, but even then it's still just more swirling, raging water. It would look perhaps something like, oh god,
Whoa.
that.
I'm a Morpha.
I wouldn't concern yourself with the stats. The thing is too bright anyways. You saw it for a minute as a water elemental stands before you, lets out a harrowing cry because it's still capable of making noises, though it cannot speak languages. It can speak one.
Yeah, I can speak with it.
Yeah, sure. I need everybody to roll initiative. including you, Lena. Although you
Hey.
don't know what's happening.
18. The one time I roll good initiative and I'm the freaking enemy. That's
18.
That's awesome.
Who has the higher dex?
Jason, really?
Lena, probably?
My dex is a 1.
Why am I in this game?
Jason tripped and hit his head.
I fell down the stairs at the dais because I rolled a 1.
Oh, God.
And sustained brain damage. I got a 13.
I
though.
am a god!
Karash, what do you got?
16.
And unfortunately for you, the water elemental has a 21 and is going first.
Oof.
Oh, goody.